that time of the year, everyone, and we are here to talk about the Leafs 2019 preseason. Now, we can talk about lines going into next, or I guess this upcoming year, and we can talk about that all we want, but we're going to save that for the season preview that is going to be happening between the season beginning and the end of the preseason. So I'm going to save that for that. Now, what are we looking forward to in preseason? If you're looking at any of the guys that you know who are going to be in the roster, you're looking for things to impress you. Things that are, things that they have worked on through the offseason. How does Austin Matthews look? How does Mitch Marner look? How does William Nylander look? I think this is a really big year for Willie Nylander, obviously with the contract dispute he had last season. People kind of wrote that year as a wash. Now, this season, there's no excuse there. So now he's going to go out and play. How are we going to see him perform? You'll want to see him going early in preseason. But really, the preseason are for, the bottom 6 forwards and the bottom 2D plus the extra 1 or 2 D-man. That's really what it is. And then the AHL guys just kind of do their thing. I'm very excited to see a select few type of guys. I mean, I'm very, very excited to see guys like Rasmus Sandin, Timothy Liljegren. Those are 2 guys that I look at and say, well, the Leafs D-core is all right, but it's not the greatest. Now, for Sandin and Liljegren, obviously Timothy Liljegren hasn't really taken that jump yet. Now, I want to see what he looks like in preseason mode with the Leafs. As for Rasmus Sandin, I think he did a great job last year for the Marlies, but he's a guy you want to see they take that next step. Maybe not to the NHL, but take that next step and be one step closer. One of those first call-ups from the AHL. That's what you want to see from a guy like Rasmus Sandin, and I think it's going to be very exciting to see what happens with that. I'm just looking through the names here on the roster. Joseph Duszak, he was one of the guys they signed from the U.S. Mid-season last year. He put up great numbers there. I want to see things out of him. Again, another guy they want to see some positive things. The big guy, Ben Harper, acquired, with Cody Ceci in that trade with Ottawa in the offseason. Again, people just say he's big and that's it. Well, I want to have a look for myself. A lot of people in preseason just want to have a look at the new guys. I want to see how Tyson Barrie looks. I want to see how Alex Kerfoot is going to look. Jason Spezza in a Leafs uniform. That's going to be different, and I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, at least early on. How's Pierre Engvall, a guy that we've seen kind of grow through the minor league, through the minors, throughout the Marlies and all that. He's done a great job down there. Is he going to take that next step? We don't know. For the Leafs, the forward core is really cramped, and a guy in the forward core that I think should get a legit chance to make this team is Jeremy Bracco, especially with Zach Hyman out to start the season. A guy like Jeremy Bracco, who broke records in the AHL last season, deserves to get a chance at the NHL. I'm not saying he's going to be an everyday kid. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying he at least deserves to get a chance in preseason to impress Mike Babcock, to impress the coaching staff. Because now with the Leafs, contract-wise, fully good to go, I mean, it's very thin up front. But a lot of us as Leaf fans want to have a look at these young players. You want to get a look at Sandin. You want to see Korshkov, I think he was a former second-round pick of the Leafs. You want to see a look Dmytro Timashov more often. Nick Batan, you want to get a good look at Trevor Moore. Guys that you haven't seen a lot of in the past, and you want to see more of them. You know what I mean? And for the Leafs, we kind of know what the forward core and D core is going to look like NHL-wise for the most part. So yeah, there's more or less auditions for these other players. The one spot I think that is wide open going into the preseason is the backup goalie spot. We obviously know Frederik Andersen is leading the way in front in goal. But who's going to back him up? Well, last year we had Garrett Sparks. They traded away lost with McElhaney on waivers. I hated that move, and I still do. However, Michael Hutchison came in and wasn't that bad. They decided to trade Garrett Sparks. I think it was to Vegas. I think they traded Garrett Sparks too in the offseason. They keep Michael Hutchison, and they bring on, I think it was for a professional tryout or maybe an AHL deal or something, Michael Neuwirth. And he's a guy that I think could possibly get that spot. Now, I think he's injured right now. I'm hoping he gets into some games in the preseason, but with a guy like Hutchison who actually didn't do all that bad with the Leafs, and Neuwirth, who has lots of NHL experience, did a great... You guys remember back in the day when Michael Neuwirth was playing against the Capitals when he was on the Flyers. Philly was down 3-0 in the series, and, it looked like it was a wash. They fire in Neuwirth. They win the next 2 games, I think it is, because Neuwirth stands on his head. Now, ideally, that's quite a few years removed, but he's still a serviceable backup goaltender, veteran who's been there and done that, and I think he's going to do fine if he makes the team. If Michael Hutchinson goes in there, you saw what he did last year, people. He looked calm, he looked cool, he looked collected, and I like what I saw from Hutchinson, even though it turned out to be Garrett Sparks, the backup goalie, the rest of the season. So, I would sit here and tell you guys that there's a lot of question marks heading into the 2019 holy crud, the 2019 preseason for the Leafs, but there isn't really. We can sit here and talk about the top 3 lines, and there's no question those guys are going to be on the team. It's just a matter of where they're playing. And you can already tell, out of 12 forward spots, you can probably tell me 10 or 11 that are already set in stone. As the D-core, you'd say about 4 or 5 of them are pretty set in stone. You're just looking for 1 or 2 guys. So, it's not like it's an overhaul. It's not like the Leafs are still going through the rebuild and getting all these young guys. You're not having that anymore. What the Leafs are at right now is the patching things up, especially with Hyman and Dermott out for at least the first 12 to 15 games each. You want to see these other guys step up and make a contribution. Now, are we going to see a Rasmus Sandin? Are we going to see a Timothy Liljegren on the point because of Dermott's injury? I don't know. If I look at this D-core and I look at the players that aren't making the squad, first off, Tyson Barrie, we know Cody Ceci, we know Ducek, he barely played in the AHL, he's not making the NHL right away. Kevin Gravel, again, maybe a guy that kind of slides in. Ben Harper, again, maybe another guy that slides in. Justin Hall, same thing. Mac Hollowell, he's a guy that impressed insanely with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds this past year, but I don't think he's going to make the Leafs, obviously. Tivu Kivalame, I think his name is. He could be a guy. I don't see it happening, but you never know. Liljegren, obviously. Jesper Lindgren, Martin Marincin, for goodness sakes. We know about Muzzin, Riley. Jordan Schmaltz is another guy, Sandin. So some of the names I've reamed off, guys like Ben Harper, Jordan Schmaltz, Kevin Gravel, Ben Harper, Justin Hall, those guys there that I just mentioned are probably guys that'll get the spot over Sandin or Liljegren. I know, guys, those two are prized defensive prospects right now, but you're in win-now mode, and if they're not ready to play in the NHL, now we're going to see how they look in preseason. If you look at it and say Ben Harper's not great, Gravel's not great, but Sandin and Liljegren are impressing like crazy, you could see them slide in. But I don't see it happening personally. That's just my personal opinion, guys. You guys could have a totally other opinion. You guys go crazy. But I've made myself clear about the whole Jeremy Bracco situation, especially with guys like Zach Hyman out for, like I said, the 12-15 games. I want to see Jeremy Bracco in the NHL at some point with the Leafs. He deserves it. He's got a ton of talent, and he's got to show it. I don't want this guy to be moved just because of a number crunch. He's a lot better than that. That's just my personal opinion on that whole situation, guys. And you know what? There's really not much else to say. Like I talked about, we're going to go into more depth scenarios in the season preview once we know what the roster looks like. But for this video, it's more us talking about the guys to kind of keep an eye on heading into preseason starting tomorrow night. It's not in Ottawa. I think it's in Newfoundland. I think they're playing, right? Is it? I'm pretty sure it's in Newfoundland. I'm trying to bring up the game here. They're facing Ottawa at the Mile 1 Center. And I think in St. John's, Newfoundland, where the Growlers play. So, that game goes tomorrow at 7 o'clock, I think it is. It's 5:30. That's a really weird time. It's a 5:30 puck drop. It's game 1 of the preseason for the Leafs. I'll be here to talk to you guys about that game. The goods, the bads, the goods. I don't know why I said that. I was going the good, the bad, the ugly, but bad and ugly are pretty much the same thing. So I'm not even going to say it, even though I just did. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I'm so excited to watch Leaf hockey again. I actually saw on Instagram. I'm going to try and find it here for you guys. So this is the lines from Group 1 at the morning skate. I think it was today. It was Tavares, Kapanen, Marner, Spezza, Trevor Moore, Pierre Engvall, Frederick Gauthier, Igor Korshkov, and Dmytro Timashov, Mason Marchment, Adam Brooks, and Jeremy Bracco. The two extras were Eleniuk and Baptiste. And I could have botched that first guy's name. I apologize for that. The D-core goes as so: Jake Muzzin, Tyson Berry, Martin Marinson, Jordan Schmaltz, Kevin Gravel, and Justin Hall, and Dusek and Jesper Lindgren. Not Liljegren. Lindgren. It's a very, very fine thing. And then Anderson and Kaskasuo were the two goalies in that today. Now, are those guys going tomorrow? I would assume so. But that's just what I see happening tomorrow for the Leafs and Sens tomorrow at 5:30. I'm excited. Leaf hockey's back. I'm jacked up, people. This is a highly anticipated year, and it is going to be a lot of fun. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoyed this video, and you guys are absolutely pumped to watch Leafs hockey once again. Smack that like button. Do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the preseason. What are your expectations for this Leaf team coming up throughout the season? And any dark horses you have to make the team, let me know, guys. If you've not seen the roster, guys, go look at it. The roster that's still available right now. They're going to be making cuts at some point, but the roster they have right this second, go check it out. And if there's any dark horses that you see that, hey, keep an eye on this guy, he could make the team, let me know in the comments below, guys. Go crazy down below your expectations for this team. Guys are excited to see everything towards the Toronto Maple Leafs team because it is going to be one fun season for all of us. And I'm jacked up to get it started with all of you guys watching for 82 games plus preseason and plus playoffs because we're expecting that. All right? So, guys, like I said, comment down below, everything like that. Twitter is down below for myself. Follow up, send me DM, guys. Do all that great stuff. And I will talk to you guys, Jays Edition, tomorrow night, which is Game 1 of the 3-game set against the Baltimore Orioles. Trent Thornton on the mound for the Blue Jays in Game 1. There tomorrow against the Orioles. I'm trying to find the game here. It's a 7:05 first pitch, against Dylan Bundy for the Baltimore Orioles. And as for our Toronto Maple Leafs, Game 1 of the preseason, even though I'm getting too pumped up for a preseason game, but you know why? Hockey is back, and that's why we're jacked up. All right, the Leafs kick off their action tomorrow at 5:30 in St. John's, Newfoundland, at the Mile One Center at 5:30. Sens, Leafs, Game 1 of the preseason. I'll talk to you guys then.